everyone, I'm Havoc, and this is Factorio Space Exploration Plus. Now, I've done a little bit off camera between last episode and this episode. I have this set up over here, and if I had enough low density structures, it would be running much better. But I've been producing lots and lots of these scaffolding, and using that in combination with some other resources to expand our space platform. I'm heading over here because I just remembered I needed more of these. More than that, but that's okay. I'll take that with me. That sounds good. But I've also been changing things around a little bit here and there to increase the production of certain resources on our little main bus here. I added in steel being delivered over here. We were just bringing it up and robbing from our iron lines before. We're no longer doing that. We're utilizing our actual steel build over here now. So the train will come over here, fill up very quickly, and then come back and wait very patiently here for it to unload. Now, it doesn't unload evenly because these are passive provider chests, and the bots are obviously taking out of here first. However, I am feeding the line with this as well, and this is balanced to the point where it will take out of all of these and will eventually drain the rest of the train and allow it to go fill back up. So it's not a big issue. Why don't we have any copper? I just realized that's a problem. Automatic. What are you waiting on? Oh. Wow. So I forgot to add a signal in. And now because there's a steel train sitting there, none of the other trains are running. That's funny. Factorio. How I love you so. Boom. And that'll fix all of the other ones. Where now the copper train can leave and any other train can also leave. And yeah, we were going to have an issue with iron next, and so on and so forth, with the trains not going forth and refilling. But now we've got that fixed. And that's operating. I was looking over here like, wait a minute, why is there no copper on the line? But I've also been setting up this, and I'll go back over there now and show you. I've been fooling around with how to send resources into space automatically to our orbital platform. And there's lots of different ways to do it, as there's lots of different ways to do pretty much anything in Factorio. But what I intend to do is send up a rocket filled with a single type, right? So this one has iron plate and all iron plate, and there's a signal receiver here waiting for a green signal to be sent to this, and this is on channel 9. I have it set up so that it will only put enough in to build the rocket and one space capsule in order to build the rocket, and then it fuels it up and it's ready to go, but it's not launching because it's not getting a green signal. And it's not getting a green signal because the landing pad that one is supposed to go to is still full. And it will not send a green signal until it completely empties out. Once it's completely emptied out, it sends that signal and it says, hey, launch a rocket, fire it up here and send all of that lovely iron plate straight to the landing pad. And that is done right here with this decider combinator, and it says once we get below less than one iron plate, which would be no iron plates in this landing pad, then send the rocket. Now you've probably just realized by looking at this, I added in another mod, and that is the mini loaders mod, and that way I can take out entire belts without the need of a bunch of random inserters. Now these do cost inserters to make, so they are more expensive than just doing a regular inserter out, but they're also more versatile, and these are the space variant. Now what my idea here is that I'm going to set up a completely new bus line in outer space and use belts and build what we need. And I'm just going to have a landing pad for each type of resource that I need to bring here. And at the other end, the back end, you'll see when a rocket lands, we get a space capsule, we get some cargo pods, and we get the space rocket pieces. What are these called again? My brain's just not working when it comes to that. Cargo rocket sections. Yes, we get some of those back every time a rocket lands. And this will be a main line that's going to take from each of these and send it on down. And I might ship it all back to the planet. I don't know. We'll see. Probably what I'm going to do is grab a bunch of them, pack them up, and ship them back to the planet. That way I can continuously send resources back and forth. But this gives me a simple way to do this. I don't have to do a whole bunch of circuitry, just enough circuitry to say, hey, if I'm out of iron, send me more iron. And when I have iron, don't send me more iron. It's fairly simple, and it allows me to not have to worry about, do I need X amount of iron plate compared to, Y amount of copper plate versus steel versus all these different things. And I don't have to do a bunch of crazy smart circuitry around this thing. I just pull out of here, and then I can set up like I would normally. Let's, do a balancer and then go from here and say, hey, anywhere I need iron, break it off the line, just like we do in the normal base. And that gives me the flexibility to just send up iron there, and I can add each one as I need it. The new resources gets its own landing pad. Now, as I said, that's going to require a lot of space scaffolding, and I ramped up production so that I can massively expand our space platform. I don't know if there's a limit in orbit here. I don't know if there's a maximum size, but I'm not too worried about it. If there is, it's probably going to be massive. What I am working on right now is the fact that I know there's an incoming coronal mass ejection to novice orbit, and I don't want to lose everything that I've placed up here now. So I need something along the magnitude of 237 gigajoules of power in storage, and I don't have that currently. But I don't, again, as we learned before, you don't have to have 100% of that on hand in storage in your accumulators when the attack happens, because you can be producing power during the attack to help stave it off. Now, I've got just under 50 gigajoules, but I can produce a lot. 9.7 gigajoules, or gigawatts, excuse me. Because these solar panels do a crazy, almost 1,000% of what they're supposed to in orbit around the planet where there's no atmosphere to filter the sunlight. And, as you saw, I have a very large platform of them, especially because they do 1,000%. Just take this and multiply it by 1,000. That would be how many in equivalent we would have back on the planet. It's crazy. This produces more power than my nuclear plants do. And it's all thanks to that lovely modifier of being in orbit. Now, let's get this stuff unloaded. I don't want to forget, because then I won't be able to land on this landing pad, and that would not be fun. I have need of this landing pad when I come back and forth between the planet. Ooh. I have to be careful. I unlocked my scroll wheel and it goes crazy. Alright. But what we're looking at is, how do we set this up? What are we going to do? What do we need first off of this line? And how are we going to set up our system? Now, I have, let's see, right here is the stuff. Let's bring in a whole bunch of space belt equipment. Obviously, I'm going to want to balance this immediately coming out of the unloader because I don't want one of these to take priority over the other when we start pulling off of it down the line. And I don't have any blueprints for space belt stuff, so I'm going to have to start grabbing that. But this balances all of these, and these output at 45 items a second, so exactly what a space belt or a blue belt equivalent can handle, because that's the tier that I have. You start with the chute with no technology, but that's only 3.75 items a second. It's incredibly slow. And then you just research each different level to get what you need, including there is a space research with this. And it's very helpful. This is going to allow me to do some really good things with these loaders. Now, we need to plan out what we're going to do. So I don't want a bunch of stuff on the line yet. I just want to get some belts down to get a good visual representation of what we're going to do with this. I'm going to leave this area very untouched right now because I'm going to be reorganizing the way we're doing fluids. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to have a single landing pad that accepts a single fluid barrel type and unloads it. Now, speaking of barrels, I did bring recycling machines up here because we have a ton of barrels and we need to do something about that. And I'm going to just turn them right back into steel. Super easy. And we're going to be bringing more barrels up here, so it's nothing to stress about, really. Let's do this probably like 200. Perfect. Now, these obviously stack to 10, right? And then this recipe gives you a 1 for 1, but then the steel stacks to 100, so you're going to compress the storage we're taking up by a factor of 10. Which is great. As it'll take up, well, I said that incorrectly. It will take up 1/10 of the space because 100 barrels will fit in a single slot instead of 10 slots when we change it into steel. And that's going to free up a lot of these because if you look, we've got a lot of empty barrels taking up space up here, and there's no need for all these. You do need some empty barrels for creating the rocket science packs. But one empty barrel makes 8 science packs, and I'm not even making them right now. I've got a stockpile of them. So I can go ahead and convert all of these back into steel. Good question that I just thought of is how much steel does it take to make an empty barrel? 1 steel makes an empty barrel. So there's 0 loss in this. You take your 1 steel, you make it into a barrel, you fill it up, you ship it up here, and then you take that barrel and turn it back into steel. No loss whatsoever. That's perfect. We're going to have to set up a more permanent build for handling that later. But right now, we'll let that run. So I want to look at what do I need to get as the primary resources to get started. So I'm looking at these blank data cards is the very first thing. Now this doesn't take any iron to do itself, right? It takes iron to make these rough data storage pieces. It takes 2 glass and 4 iron and makes 1 of these though. So I'm already making these on the planet's surface, and I'm probably going to keep making these on the planet's surface because you're taking 6 resources and turning it into 1. Which is a compression of resources. And since it takes, more space to send up all the glass and all the iron and then make them in space, it takes up more room inside of a rocket. That's not an efficient way to do it. It's better to simply send the rough data storage substrate up into space already. So that's what we're going to look at doing. And let's see. What do these processes take that we're already doing? This just takes, so this takes water and lubricant and makes cosmic water. The cosmic water and petroleum gas makes gel. So this is the first fluid that requires something other than other fluids, and that takes iron plate, copper plate, and sulfur. So I'm probably going to want to get copper plate and sulfur being brought up here in their own little area, and it's going to take up a lot of space if I put the signal transmitter in between them. So let's see, do I have another landing pad on me? No, I don't think I do. That's okay. We can figure out, is there a way to maybe put it beside it and shift all of these? So we're going to shift this entire thing up one, or two, excuse me, because I'm trying to see if I can squeeze in. Yes, I can. Okay, good. And so what that allows me to do is put the next one right next to this one, because all of the logic that I'm going to use here is going to be hidden right, but we're not hidden, but it'll be right beside it. So I'm reading off of it with red wire and then transmitting that signal with green wire. Okay, and then I set it up with the same information, and I just need to make this channel 9 because that's the one that I'm transmitting iron on. And now I can rebuild this balancer. I didn't take a blueprint of it like I said I should have, so that I can just make my robots do this for me. There we go. Now that means that all of this will move up a little bit. What's going on with my hotbar? It's a little weird. How many robots do I have on me? It would help if I turn my robots on. Okay. Perfect. And that works out great. Like I said, what I can do is I can put the very next landing pad just next to this one and do the same thing. So I will have, because that works like so, I'll have the next resource running right down here, and that's going to be copper, and we can just set up a channel and continue on, so on and so forth, moving down through here. And that's pretty nice. This actually gives me a break of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in between the two different resource types, which will allow me to go underneath an underground belt as I need it. So let's go ahead, set that up. This is where we'll handle the copper. I'm going to need quite a lot of these landing pads, and that's okay. And I'm going to need a lot of the cargo rocket silos. This is not the most efficient way, but I don't always do things the most efficient way, and that's okay with me. I can print resources with this mod pack thanks to the void ore miner, not the void ore miner. That's Minecraft. Getting distracted here. What is it? Core mining drill. Where's it at? Right here. Yes, the core mining drill. That's what it's called. With this, I can print resources indefinitely, so I don't have to worry about, oh, that's very expensive to build, I shouldn't be making a lot of them. No, don't worry about that. Just make more. Just make more. These are actually quite expensive as well. This will be copper, and so on and so forth going down. And I need sulfur and lots of other ones. And what I want to look at is not every single thing that I need right this moment, just what's going to get me operating with what I need now. So iron, copper, sulfur. In fact, I should probably write this stuff down. Okay. And that gets me the thermofluid, and obviously I need to do the fluids as well, each of the different fluids, and redesign where I'm producing them and holding them. And then the rough data substrate I'm going to need to bring up here. Rough data substrate. And chemical gel, I'm already making that. Then we're going to take the polished data substrate, which we get here, and we need more copper, and then we need red circuits. We're going to need green circuits. All of the circuits. Okay, so, you know, let's see. Green circuits, red circuits. Probably going to need the blue circuits up here as well too, but we'll wait until we see what we need for that. Multispectral mirrors. And this takes a lot of different things. Okay, so this one is really going to be the one that starts to add lots of resources here. Steel, glass, low density structures, heat shielding. Okay. I'm doing all this to get energy science. That's crazy. The ion stream, what does that take? I have not even looked at that one yet. Takes copper plate, which we're going to have. Plasma stream. Plasma stream is stone. Chemical gel. So we're going to need stone up here. Now, I might get stone up here from recycling the scrap that's going to be made in space, because we are going to be producing a lot of scrap up here. And I can then process that scrap in a recycling facility to get the different resources. And the heavy oil I'll just immediately make use of. I may not even need to ship heavy oil up here to make thermofluid, because we're going to be recycling a lot of scrap. And that'll get us stone, but it also gets us iron and copper. So we'll need to process the iron and copper in space. I know that can be done, I just don't know. Thermodynamic facility. That's what I'm going to need in order to make it in space. I can just take the ore and smelt it down. And okay. What else was I needing? Wait a minute. Did I complete that train of thought? Yes, because that just takes chemical gel and stone. And one stone makes 100 plasma stream. And the 100 plasma stream with one extra piece of copper plate makes 100 ion stream. And those, we needed how much? 50 at a chance to make one electromagnetic field data. And that makes one catalog. And then the energy insight means I'm going to need another catalog in order to make it. And this produces 2 energy science packs. This is a bit pricey. I've never done this before, and looking at it, it's not cheap. How do we get significant data? Okay, so you need a lot of the energy insights in order to make significant data. And that means you're going to need a lot of the catalogs. And this gives you back, I like this because it gives you back, it gives you 2 insights, gives you back 2 blank cards, but it doesn't give you a chance of getting anything broken back. So this one gives you the energy catalog. It takes 4 of these So you're taking, oh, that takes 10 blank data cards. I was about to say, that's a 1-to-1. That's a 10-to-9 and a junk card. It's so weird, all these different random ratios for different things. And this gives you back contaminated scrap, which I probably then have to wash. Oh boy. Okay. So I think the first order of business is going to be getting more resources up here so that I can start lining out where items are going to run in the bus. So I'm going to need more landing pads, more combinators, signals, receivers, transmitters, all the good stuff to get resources up here automatically. Now, I don't have the infrastructure to support sending a whole lot of rockets at once. So, where are you going? It's just a robot all by himself. All by himself. He's not holding anything. What was that robot doing? Out in the middle of nowhere. Anyways, got me distracted. Saw the poor little sad robot floating back here to the base. Where? Okay, now I've got to know. Where is it going? What are we doing? I must know. Is this one little robot constantly trying to go somewhere, running out of charge, and sadly floating back to base? We're going on an adventure with our robot friend. Aha! And he can't ever make it. Oh, that poor thing. I took care of it for you. You know, it will even rescue you from your slow flight back. That's right. I've got to do something about meteors up here, too. Not just about the umbrella defense system. I need to bring up some of the... what are these things called? Meteor defense installations. I have them being made, and I have ammo being stored. I just need to bring some up here, put it down, so that our poor robots don't have to fly out there every time a meteor comes in, thinking they got to clean stuff out. Okay, there's always, in Factorio, the more you do, the more you learn. The more I learn, the more I need to do other things. So we've got to do some planning. Like I said, before I can start building lots of rockets all at once, I'm going to need to finish modular builds in the base for lots of different items. But we're constantly getting hit by these aggravating little bugs on the planet, and I really would like to get to the energy science packs, at least some, maybe not a fully automated system, but get some made so that I can research the ion cannons. I'm just drooling at the mouth at this point. I really want to get it. So I think that's what I'm going to work on, figuring out how to set this up just to get enough going to get the cannon, and then just have some fun with that and work on the base back on planet side in order to support sending up rockets like crazy. So if you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this on a regular, consider subscribing to my channel and hitting that little notification bell so you'll know when my videos go live. And I will see you all next time.